everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is going to be a reading for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the upcoming solar eclipse on June the 10th. So we're going to do a 5-card alignment reading. I'm going to just shuffle and cut the deck and take 5 cards. This has been a very deeply transformative time for all the signs since the lunar eclipse on May 26th. And the solar eclipse is certainly going to be no exception to that transformation, bringing in lots of change and deep transformations that require some action potentially. Let's see what's going on, Aries. Okay, judgment. So right now, the area of your, the aspects of you that require some balance are your, the sense of judgment, okay? Now, when you see judgment in this position, that really suggests that it's time to bring into balance what you believe you deserve, okay? So it's almost like you're waiting for some news or an outcome, and it's requiring some balance in the way you're internalizing this judgment and in the way you perceive the outcome that you feel is in balance with your actions or intentions. So this is very interesting, Aries. Let's keep going. It looks like the process you're on is to do with authenticity, which is a big Aries issue, right? Aries are always striving to be completely authentic and in their solid sense of self. Now, when we see the 7 of Swords come up as the process you're on, this card is about authenticity. Do I be authentic or do I be diplomatic and tactful? And you know, there's also this feeling with the 7 of Swords that you're making a choice about whether or not to take off. Are you going to sneak off in the middle of the night, or are you going to stay until the morning and speak your truth? Right? It's like you've discovered something and you feel like, should I just run off? You're feeling very cautious and you're wondering how much balance to bring from authenticity, being you, your true self, versus trying to just belong and fit in and sort of, you know, have a sense of diplomacy, like where you're going to be more diplomatic than authentic. So this is the process you're on. This is what the solar eclipse is going to help transform for you, is this idea of just being authentic and releasing some judgment and understanding that there is cause and effect, right? And so there's no reason to judge the cause and effect. It just is, you know? And so there's a part of you you're struggling with authenticity right now, Aries. Very interesting. Now, the truth behind this judgment has to do with a union, okay? An emotional relationship that may be starting to stir up feelings that are new for you. Okay, Aries? So you could have come into a relationship that is mirroring to you something about yourself, and now you're needing to have balance there, where you need to infuse yourself here. You need to be authentic when reviewing this and not relying on this other individual or this external energy to tell you who you are. That's the vibe I'm getting for you, Aries. You need to tell yourself who you are. Now, the action that you're being guided to take here is the Ace of Swords in reverse. And when it's in reverse, it's pointing where? Straight at you, my friend. It's pointing straight at you to tell you it's time to experience seeing things in a new way. And that may cause inner conflict. This sword is pointed right at you. And so the action you're being guided to take is to have that inner conflict, to go in deep and understand who is the authentic version of yourself today, right? So it looks like the solar eclipse is going to shed some light on that for you. Pardon the pun there. Now, your final guidance is make a decision. You feel bound up mentally by something that you need to free yourself from. You can see that new moon in the background and all that water behind you here, guiding you to use your intuition, not just your mental acuity. These swords represent the mental sort of clarity in the mind, reason, and judgment. Okay, interesting. Right under the Judgment card and in between all of these other cards, you've got the Two of Swords here. So that really says it's time to make a decision. It's time to make a decision. Stop procrastinating. Stop seeing that you are powerless. Okay, it's almost like you are like, I don't know how to deal with this, and it's coming at you from a place where you didn't see it coming, although I think you felt it coming. Okay, you may not have seen it coming in the physical world, but you certainly feel it coming, that eventually you're going to have to make a decision and face a truth about something on an inner mental level in your mind. And it's all because of a relationship. Maybe someone has just come in, a new relationship maybe. The Two of Cups is represented by Cancer energy. Excuse me. So you may have come into contact with a water sign that has challenged you. You got 2 twos here. So it's almost like you need to make a decision about how you allow this person to affect your authenticity and the inner dialogue you have, or that this relationship is sort of holding everything back and you're starting to feel that. So let's get some clarity. Ooh, we need to speak about something. Okay, let's get some clarity here on this Two of Cups. Thank you. It's a miracle. Yeah, okay, so this union came in out of nowhere, and it is changing your sense of personal power and confidence. So perhaps this union is really shedding some light. This individual coming into your life who has come already, or maybe will come post lunar eclipse, is going to, or is shedding light on something new for you in terms of your personal power, which makes sense because it's right under that Judgment card. So, and there's another there's a 2 in between here. So this union came about out of nowhere, or will come about out of nowhere, and it will help you, or is helping you right now, understand things about your personal power and your authentic self. Now, when it comes to this Seven of Swords, there is this energy of your confidence is being dissipated. So there's something about this process that you're on that is lessening your confidence. Something is dissipating, and it could be a previous belief you held about yourself, or it could be that your confidence is being challenged here. You're having a moment where your confidence is being challenged and you're tempted to just sort of jump ship and run, right? You need to, this is the area where you're on a process. So it's like you're on the process of understanding your authentic self, and things are dissipating, and you may feel a void, but there is something coming in to replace all of that. And it has to do with you and you. You know, this individual has come into your life to mirror to you something that needs shifting with respect to your confidence. You may not have some confidence right now, Aries. Your confidence may be low, and it might be dissipating. So we need to, let's look at that Ace of Swords in reverse. How can we get the confidence back? It's got to be an inner dialogue. It's self-limiting beliefs. Let's see. Balance. Bring balance into how you're talking to yourself, Aries. You might be being too hard on yourself. You might be saying things to yourself that are too harsh of a judgment. You need to bring into balance. See, this card is indigo. We need to bring our higher self involved. Get your psychic abilities and your intuition online here. I think that is the shift you're going to experience. You're going to bring some balance to this sword. Sword, like we said, it's all about mind, mental, judgment, reason, rationality, and logic. Balance that with some intuition. Okay? which is something very interesting to say to a fire sign. But you could be really struggling to understand yourself right now through this transformative time. And we need balance. We need to add intuition to logic. We can't look at the situation logically alone with just reason and judgment, which could be why judgment is at the top here. We need to infuse a balance of adding some intuition to this. What about this Two of Swords as guidance? So time to make a decision. How can we help? Can we help Aries with this, these swords? Perfection. Yeah, you might be putting limits and conditions on yourself because things aren't perfect, or you don't see the perfection in the process. You're seeing it as a dilemma. You're seeing it as something that needs to be solved. It's actually just something that's coming in to shift your identity. It's a red card, root chakra. It's going to change your sense of identity and grounding. And you can release the idea that everything has to be perfect. You can see that if you look carefully in the card, the woman within the woman there. Okay, so it's almost like the feminine energy within you isn't how you're showing up in the world. It's inside you, but it's not being expressed yet. You can see the yellow around her, which is that confidence. We have a lot of yellow here for you. And so it's like, let that inner voice speak. It doesn't have to be perfect before you speak it. You can speak it. You can make a decision with your intuition and not worry about, did you make a perfect decision? Are you perfect? To strive for perfection is an exercise in making yourself mad almost. You are perfect as you are. You are already perfect. You are already beautifully perfect. There's no other way to say that to you. Judging yourself and sort of not allowing that authentic part of you to come through because of your sense of reason. It's almost like your ego is struggling with the true self. You can see the true self and the ego here. And it's not perfect. Nothing is perfect. We are perfectly flawed. That is our perfection. We are perfectly unique. That is our perfection. Nothing is right. Nothing is wrong. We are all unique expressions of the same source. And I feel guided to say that to you right now, Aries. It's like you're losing your confidence in yourself because of this situation. Now, what about this Judgment card? Oh, we've got two flying out. Let's take both. The Judgment card, very clear messages here for you. Release grief. You've got to release this this grip of judgment that it's like you're waiting for someone to judge you. Why? It's very interesting, the imagery here. We see grief, and then in release, you see a graveyard. So it's like you need to release something that is no longer serving you. You need to release energy from the past. You need to release this grief you hold. It's almost like you thought you had a perfect vision of something, and that's not the outcome you got. And so you now feel like emotional about it, and you're judging the experience. Maybe you're judging yourself, your actions. And instead of seeing the miraculous perfection in your uniqueness, it's like you're judging it harshly and your confidence is slipping away. Okay, so the solar eclipse will hopefully shed some light for you on how to bring these energies into balance. Okay, let's pull a card for final words of encouragement for Aries on this timeline. What are the words of encouragement for Aries? Thank you. You're between two worlds. Yep, that sounds about right, Aries. You are in the midst of a transformation and you're between two worlds. It's like one side of you has already sort of shifted into this and the other side of you is struggling to catch up. And that's okay. Take your time. Perhaps the solar eclipse will really, really aid in this transformation. June is going to be a very powerful month for all of us. You know, there's been so much energy shifting with the lunar eclipse and now the solar eclipse, and summer solstice is coming up. So you are between two worlds. Be kind to yourself here, my beautiful Aries. Be kind to yourself on this journey that you're on. Notice that this is card number 3. I just noticed that. And it's almost like, you see the 2 of Swords and then the 3 in this oracle deck. So it's like once you make a decision, this could be what's keeping you in these two worlds at once, is this sort of refusal to make a decision about something. Okay, so it's very interesting to see these cards together. I think that you will shift into this new world here, this colored vision, right? You will leave this black and white once you surrender and release this guilt you're holding and this idea that things have to be perfect before you proceed. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me, Aries. Lots of love and light.